Okay, so Namaste, Hari Om. We can start. And as I had mentioned yesterday, I have highlighted with yellow the, what have I done for the yellow? The yellow is for the long, dirgha. So Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. So we can count the number of dirghas, longs, that are there for each shloka. Then the other thing is for Mahaprana. Shuklam Bharadharam. That dha is Mahaprana. I've used the brown color. And so in the case of Prasannavadanam Dhyayet, it is both Mahaprana as well as Dirgha. So if we can register these things as we pronounce, we will realize that, as mentioned yesterday, they are all to meter. It's not necessarily musical. It is just the number of beats. So it will flow without overloading ourselves with wondering how to keep the beat and whatnot. If we keep the number of the duration for the short and the duration for the long as distinct and steady, then we will be able to recite it without any problem. So we can start. Please go ahead, and the only request is that you pay attention to the way it is to be pronounced while you pronounce. So please go ahead.
May I start?
Yes.
Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam.
So please do that first word again.
Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye.
Sadhu.
Thank you.
Next, another person.
I will.
Okay.
Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarampam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Samichinam, good. Next.
I'll go.
Okay.
Enakshara samanyayam.
There is no ya there. Enakshara samam nayam, not nyayam.
Okay. Enakshara samanyayam.
Samam nayam. Enakshara samam nayam.
Right. Okay. Enakshara samam nayam. Adhigamyam Maheshwarat.
Adhigamya, the dha is Mahaprana.
Okay. Adhigamya Maheshwarat.
Adhigamya.
Okay. Adhigamya Maheshwarat. Kritsnam Vyakaranam Proktam Tasmai Paninaye Namaha.
Samichinam. I just cut and pasted from the other mantra. Who would like to go?
Om Sahana Bhavatu.
No, the whole thing.
Yeah, one more. Sorry, I thought I was muted. No. Om Sahana Bhavatu. Sahanau Bhunaktu. Sahaviryam Karavavahai. Tejasvinadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So you can follow the instructions given by Ramakrishnan Mama in the other video for whoever needs to get caught up on the pronunciation, on the recitation of the of this Shanti Mantra. Mantraha are from the Vedas and the Upanishads, and they have the notation. It is not just the Alpa Prana, Mahaprana that is to be kept in mind. It is also the Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita, the lower, the three tones, the lower, the middle, the steady, and the higher note. And so those notations are included. And if yesterday I said that the meaning of the word might change if we don't do the hrasva and the dirgha properly, or if we don't do the alpa prana, mahaprana properly. When we get to the mantras, if we don't do the udatta, anudatta, then the meaning will also change. And the biggest example for that is, I say this with respect to the ucharanam, with pronunciation. So the story, the katha is that there is an asuraha who covets Indra's position. And so he somehow performs a yagaha where he says, I want to become Indraha. So he performs a yaga, and there they say, Indra Shatru Vardhasva, Indra Shatru Vardhasva. We have learnt the form, Lot Lakaraha, I believe, where it says, may he prosper, or Vidhiling. I forget now what it might be. So the yaga is performed where he says that the desire is for a son to be born who would vanquish Indra. That was the purpose, that was the intention of the yaga. But they pronounced the Alpa Prana, Mahaprana, Hrasva, Dirgha, all of that was fine. But what happened was that a child was born and instantly became a big man, whatever. And he and Indra fought, but it was Indra who won over. And how is it that Indra did the yaga? Was it false? Did it not bear fruit? It bore fruit, but except that it bore fruit the way it was performed. In the ucharanam of the mantra, the way they said the word Indra Shatruhu is a compound word. And this Indra Shatruhu can be considered either as Indrasya Shatruhu, which is what which was their intention. Indrasya Shatruhu means the enemy of Indra. But because of the Udatta Anudatta pronunciation, mispronunciation, they pronounced it as Indraha eva Shatruhu, Indra the enemy. So instead of saying, may the enemy of Indra grow, prosper, they had ended up doing the yaga as, may Indra the enemy prosper. And that was the reason why even though the son was born, it was Indra who became victorious. So with respect to the ucharanam, the pronunciation, with respect to the so pronunciation in the normal Laukika and Vaidika, there are two aspects. So the Laukika Sanskritam is what we are dealing with in the learning right now, but the Upanishads and the Vedas, they include the notation. That would be the part of the Vaidika Sanskritam. And so in Vaidika Sanskritam, not only is it the Alpa Prana, Mahaprana, etc. that matter, but also the Udatta, Anudatta matter. So if a note, if a sound has is intended to go down, then it needs to go down. If it goes up, there is a likelihood of mispronunciation. And the reason why it was the same word, Indra Shatruhu, based on how it is pronounced, it would mean pronounced as in Udatta, Anudatta, the tone. It would mean either Indra, the enemy, or the enemy of Indra. All right, we've not yet done compound words. We will get to it soon. Maybe this cycle or very soon. So yesterday we had reviewed all the sounds, and now we can move on to words. Does anybody have any particular question to ask? Okay, nobody has anything specific to ask. I'm just going to put up the, so we now move from the, from general, we just talked about sounds yesterday. So we will now talk about words. So words in Sanskritam have to be words. So when we had earlier started learning, I had indicated that the word Ramaha is derived from the word Rama. So we can look at the word Rama as the unmanifested form, and the word Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramau, Raman, all of them are the manifested form of the word Rama. The unmanifested form of the word is not usable. Only the manifested forms of the word are usable. Similarly, with respect to the verbs, pat is the dhatuhu. It is the root verb. And that pat dhatuhu is not usable by itself. It needs to be used along with the patati, patataha, pathanti, or apathat, apathatam, apathan, pathatu, pathet. Only in those forms is it usable. So those forms are the manifested forms, and the other is the non-manifested form of the dhatuhu. So in any sentence, we can only use the manifested form of the words, whether they are supting antam padam. Just as we are looking at the pratyayas, we are looking at the way in which the various conjugations that we look at for the verbs, those are called, we say terminations in English. In Sanskritam, we call them as pratyayaha. Pratyayaha is anything that causes a change. So if you had coffee, I had coffee in the morning. So I had milk, and into that milk, I poured coffee decoction. So that coffee decoction is the pratyayaha. It is the one that causes the change. Or if you look at it the other way, I have hot water, and into that hot water, I added the coffee powder. So for that, the coffee powder is the pratyayaha. So we have a base into which we are adding something. So we have this thing pratyayaha, which is the ti, taha, nti, and the te, ete, nte that we have been seeing for the various conjugations. They are all called pratyayaha. I will use my whiteboard to write it. I think I have already written it, so I don't well, if I need to, I'll write it again. So those are all the pratyayaha. So we have the ting pratyayaha. We've not done the ting sup. So I will go ahead and use my whiteboard. Okay, so we have, I'm just going to use a ruler line for better writing. Okay, so we have pratyayaha, and these pratyayaha are of two types. One is ting and the other is, well, there are many types of pratyayaha, but well, there are many more. Okay, there are many. So these ting pratyayaha, they lead to kriyapadani. Kriyapadani are verbs. And this sup pratyayaha lead to namapadani. And these namapadani are nouns. And we have many more pratyayas. We will learn them later. Now there are 18 ting pratyayas. The 18 ting pratyayas are what we look when we, for any conjugation, we have 9 pratyayas for the parasmaipadi and 9 pratyayas for the atmanepadi, which we have been seeing. So that 9 plus 9 together makes it 18. And this is the one, this is the place where the sequence given in the sutram, in Panini Sutram, is Prathama Purushaha, Madhyama Purushaha, Uttama Purushaha. Third person, second person, first person. The first 9 are for Parasmaipadi and the next 9 are for Atmanepadi. That is how those pratyayas are available. And similarly, the sup pratyayaha, well, I always get mixed up. It is either 21 or 24 because we have 7 multiplied by 3. What is this? This is the 7 cases. First case, second case, third case, prathama vibhaktihi, dvitiya vibhaktihi, etc. So multiplied by 3 vachanams, by 3 counts, singular, dual, and plural. So it is either 8 multiplied by 3 or 7 multiplied by 3. And we are not working on that. We are only looking at the final product. We are only looking at Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha. Just as we are working out how pat becomes pathati, pathataha, pathanti, like that. So if I were to give the word forms here, it would be pathati, gachet, nayatu, or badhate, vardhatam. So these are all results of applying the ting pratyayaha. And the results of applying the sup pratyayaha will be Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha, Vanani, Grihe. What else do I want to insert? Sitayai. So the various words that we have learned, if they are nouns, they have the supratyaya applied. We just are not processing that supratyaya. We have processed the ting pratyaya application. And these have different templates. We have seen Gurave, He Hare. Okay, so these are the Kriya Padani and the Nama Padani. When you combine them, you have sentences. And when you make a sentence in Sanskritam, so there are two things we can remember. The first one is Suptingantam Padam. Suptingantam Padam means Padam is a word, but here we are talking about a usable word. So a usable word is has either a thing or a sup ending, which means you can't use a pratyaya by itself. You can't use a dhatuhu by itself. You can't use a namapadam, pratipadikam by itself. So kriya padam is dhatuhu plus pratyaya. So kriya padam is a dhatuhu plus a pratyaya. A namapadam is shabdah plus pratyaya. But the word shabdah is used for many things. Even when that is also a shabdah. But then it doesn't count as word here. Somebody has put up your hand. I don't know your name. Shkri, I don't know how to pronounce that. Yes, please.
Yeah, this is Sharmila. Actually, Dhatu, is that is that a root or what is that?
Yes, root.
Okay, root. And Pratyaya, I know you mentioned, is that like a cause? How should
No, Pratyaya is the agent of change.
Agent of change. Okay, yeah, thank you.
In English, we refer to them as, I think, terminations. I think in English, they are referred to as terminations.
Okay.
Prefixes, affixes. I'm not sure if the prefixes and affixes are, this prefix is different from the upasarga prefix that we are talking about.
Okay.
Okay, so this another technical term for the word shabdah is Prathipadhikam. Prathipadhikam is the technical term for the Rama, Nadi, Lata, from which the unmanifested form is called the Prathipadhikam. Yes, did somebody else put up your hand? Did somebody put up your hand? No? Okay. So, yes, Bhaskarji, you have to unmute.
Sorry. The Prathipadhikam just now you said, is that the same as Dhatu?
No, Dhatu is for the verb. Prathipadhikam is for the noun.
Okay. Okay. Also, obviously, there are more than 18 pratyayas for the Kriya Padam because there are the various tenses.
Okay. No.
You already
so
probably
if you-
mentioned this.
No, if you go back and look at how the various lakaras are processed, you will see that the ting pratyayas are the same, but there are other vikarana pratyayas. There are additional pratyayas which are outside of the ting, which determine how it works for the various ganaha, the conjugations, and how it works for the various lakaraha. So there are additional pratyayas which talk about how we make modification for present tense, past tense, future tense, etc. And how we make it for how pat becomes patati, but kru becomes karoti. So there are additional, like we use that right? So there are vikarana pratyayaha, there are other pratyayas which are conjugation specific, but the ting pratyayaha applies to the entire verb world, and it is applicable to all the conjugations, all the ganaha, all the group of verbs, and that is 18. Okay. So we have this supting antam padam. Usable.
One more small doubt. One more small doubt. For the for if you take Sita, Sita as the Namapadani, because that what could be the change in that to make it?
Sometimes there is no change.
Okay.
But Sita is the Prathipadhikam. Sita is the word from which we start. It also in the usable form also it ends up as Sita. So there is no change there. Okay, so supting antam padam, even all our avyayams come under here. So if I were to saha, nikasha, even those avyayams come under this, they just don't have variations, but they are also nouns. So in the Sanskrit world, any word that you look at on a printed sheet of paper has to be either, has to have been processed through the ting factory, or it has to be processed through the sup factory. Nothing can exist on a printed sheet of paper without having gone through those two factories. Okay, so supting antam padam is one word. So a usable word has either a ting ending or a sup ending. And then the next thing that we can remember is ekating vakyam. I don't think this is a sutram. This probably comes from some other entity that says ekating vakyam, and that means a sentence, vakyam, is made of one verb. So there is only one verb that can be in a sentence. Once it has been, we may not have thought about it ourselves, but once it has been told to us, it's like, yeah, of course, one sentence has only one verb, but it is spelled out for us. So when we do pathati, to make a sentence, we take pathati and then we figure out how we want to go about with it. Sadhu. So I think it is time for us to get to making sentences or using. Does anybody have anything specific about what you want to do?
You want to make a sentence with one verb and one noun, or how? What is your aim?
Ekating vakyam means one sentence, one verb per sentence. We are not saying there is one verb and one noun. Then we'll only have two word sentences. So a sentence is one verb, but there can be any number of nouns in it. So when
When I
so,
say the king and the elephant go to the village.
so when you say the king and the elephant go to the village, of course, you're making that sentence in English. If you said it in Sanskritam, it is better to analyze.
So this is nirpa?
Okay, nripaha, gajaha, cha, gramam,
Gachao.
So the
Gachata.
gachataha is the kriyapadam. There is
Yeah.
only that one kriyapadam. All the other namapadani are connected with the kriyapadam. So if you now look at the sentence, so let us look at, I think I'll have enough room here for me to, yes, Harinder ji? You're on mute.
I will ask after you're done, Vidyaji, with your thought. Okay.
All right. So if we look at a vakyam, I'm going to write a kriyapadam. So we are going to use a kriyapadam in a sentence. And then we can have namapadam 1, namapadam 2, up to n. We can have any number. Shamyatam. We can have any number of namapadani. We can have any number of nouns in a verb, in a sentence. And there is a kavyam called Kadambari by Banaha. In that Kadambari, it's a wonderful piece of literature where there are sentences which are short. It has the short, maybe even 2-word sentences, a whole paragraph full of 2-word sentences. And then there are long paragraphs in which the whole paragraph is one sentence. So we have that, we have the ability to pack the word with a lot of information to put into a single sentence. But right now, we have this namapadam 1, 2, 3, 4, any number under kriyapadam. Most of these are connected with the kriyapadam. So let me use a different color to make the connection. So I guess I will use light blue. So most of these words are connected to the kriyapadam in a particular way. Namapadam 1, namapadam 2. So they're all connected to the way we have learned so far. Sadhu. So most of them are connected to the kriyapadam. But there could be 1 or 2 namapadani which are not connected to the kriyapadam. They are connected to another namapadam. So, Shamyatam. So if I were to add namapadam let me say 5. So this namapadam 5 could be connected not to the kriyapadam, but it could be connected to the namapadam 2. So most of the words that we add to a sentence are connected with the verb. There may be some nouns which are connected to other nouns. Sadhu. So this is where our vibhakti comes into place. So we say, Ramaha. I'm going to start. Ramaha gacchati. That is the sentence. Now, Ramaha, where does he go? Ramaha, I'm going to say Griham Gachati. So Ramaha is our Prathama Vibhaktihi. Then Griham Gachati is our second case. Ramaha Griham Gachati. Then I'm going to use Tritiya Vibhaktihi, instrumental, and I'm going to say Naukaya. Nauka we saw is a boat. So Naukaya. Naukaya by boat. So it is the Tritiya Vibhaktihi. Ramaha Naukaya Griham Gachati. And then why is he going home?
To see Sita.
Okay, so we will do male and right. I need to use a word that we have used before. So Ramaha Naukaya for to eat, bhojanam. I can do Sita, to see Sita, but that see becomes a verb, and we only can have one verb in a sentence. And because we can have only one verb in a sentence, I can't use pashyati. And the only form of only form that we have learned is the verb form. We've not learned any other noun form, so I can't use the to see as a noun form. They exist, we just have not learned it. So I can't use that to see. So I'm going to say for food, or let us say for for food. Bhojanaya. Bhojanam is food. So Ramaha Naukaya Bhojanaya Griham Gachati. Rama goes home by boat for food. Okay. Where is he going from? Where was he before he sets out to go home? Let us say he was in the forest. So Vanat. Ramaha Naukaya Bhojanaya Vanat Griham Gachati. Then Ramaha Naukaya Bhojanaya Vanat. Then whose house is he going to? He's going to a friend's house. Or let us say Sitayaha Griham. Okay. Ramaha Naukaya Bhojanaya Vanat Sitayaha Griham Gachati. So the Sitayaha is not connected to Gachati. Sitayaha is not connected to Vanat, not to Bhojanaya, but Sitayaha is connected to the Griham. I have to use that blue. So the connection is between Sitayaha and Griham. Okay. Then when is he going? We can say when or where. So we'll say that this is happening in India, Sadhu. So because this is happening in India, I will say Bharate. So Ramaha Naukaya Bhojanaya Vanat Bharate Sitayaha Griham Gachati. So all the sentences, Ramaha, all the 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, not the 6, 2, that I have made, they're all connected using the light blue because they're all connected to Griham, Bharate, Vanat, Bhojanaya. All of them are connected to. So this blue line has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 connections. But the darker blue is connected with the 6 between between Griham and Sitayaha. And now this is how we just make sentences. And we have already seen that there is an additional relationship between Ramaha and Gacchati. What is that relationship? If Ramaha is Ekavachanam, Gacchati should be Ekavachanam. So there is another dependency. Okay, I'll use a green color. There is a dependency between Ramaha and Gacchati because it is the subject-verb dependency. And this is what we have to keep in mind when we make sentences. We have been making simple sentences. We've been making 2-word sentences, 3-word sentences, and we've been making longer sentences also. Now, we can go over some of the homework sentences that you have made. You want to, yes, Harinder ji?
Before we go, so the word order seems pretty flexible, right? Which would not be an unacceptable word order here?
So now, if I were to move that 6 and put it somewhere else,
yeah,
Ramaha,
that would be unacceptable.
Yes, that would be
for the rest,
you can do anyway. That is why in shlokas they end up being in Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet. So the verb is in the middle. So if you unraveled it and stretched it out in sentence form, and you removed all Vishnu, we know Vishnu, we are praying to Vishnu. So we can forget about what kind of Vishnu. Then we can remove Shuklam Baradharam, we can remove Shashivarnam, we can remove Chaturbhujam, we can remove Prasanna Vadanam. So we will have Vishnum Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. I can write that here. So we have that, we have those 4 entities in that sentence. So the karta, the subject is not included in that sentence. We have to assume. So we will use that subject as a janaha, some random person, or it is not you because it is in 3rd person, correct? So let me go back to, I guess, the brown color. Shamyata. So it's going to be Janaha Sarva Vignopashantaye Vishnum Dhyayet. One may meditate upon Vishnu for the quietening down of all vignas. So all those other, now we can do Janaha Sarva Vignopashantaye Shuklambaradharam Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Vishnum Dhyayet. So in this case, Janaha is the which we are assuming. Sarva Vigna or Bhaktaha, maybe Bhaktaha is more appropriate than Janaha. because a common man versus a devotee. Okay, doesn't matter. So Sarva Vignopashantaye is for the purpose of, which is Chaturthi Vibhakti, fourth case. And Vishnum is the second case. And Dhyayet. Dhyayet is what form?
Vidiling.
And Purushaha?
Third person singular.
Okay. So this is the Vidhiling Lakaraha. And Prathama Purushaha, third person, Ekavachanam. Yes?
Yes.
Somebody else had something to say? Harinder ji, your hand is still up. You want
No,
to say something?
I'll lower it.
Okay. Did anybody else have something to say? Okay, so this is third person singular. Okay. So you can now make the sentences that you have done for homework that you would like reviewed. So you can call out one sentence after another and we can review them. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
Can I?
Yes.
do it? Through God's favor, he resorted to devotion.
You make the Samskrita sentence. You give me the Samskrita sentence.
Mine, I have translated, but I don't know if it's correct.
That is the reason we are here. So please provide your sentence, and then we will work out what the meaning you have derived, and then you can compare if that is the same as what you translated from.
Okay. Okay. My sentence is Deva Kripayai Saha Bhavati Bhaktya Samatrit Akarot. Samatrit Akarot. It's a difficult sentence, so I just tried something. That's why I want
so can you make a smaller sentence? That way we'll, I don't want us to get stuck in just one sentence. So can we start with some smaller sentences?
Okay. The next one is this. I was always fond of jest.
No, I just need the Samskrita sentence.
Aham sada hasya arame.
Okay. So aham sada hasya arame. Now the hasya, if you go back and look, so let me write what you have said. Aham sada hasya arame. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Now aham, what is aham? It is the subject, prathama vibhakti. Okay. Sada.
That is the always.
Which is what? It is an indeclinable.
Yeah, it is.
But it is, so I'll just say 0, but it is also an subantam. It is also a verb that, and it's also a word that is a noun. It has gone through the process. So aham sada. Okay, now what is this arame?
Fond of. Rame.
Rame is not fond of. What is rame? Ramate, what is ramate?
Ramate, rejoice.
To rejoice.
He rejoices.
To revel in. Ramate
revel.
is to revel in.
Revel. Okay.
So aham sada. So depending on the type of, depending on the kriya padam that you use, the sentence construction will be different. I guess this is a great sentence to be working with. So ramate is revel. Rame is I revel. So did you make it in bhutakala? Did you make it in past tense?
Yes. Fond, I thought it was.
No, you please don't give me the English meaning, because we will work with the kriya padam that you have given. That way we understand how the sentence is to be made. Then we'll go back and look at the English sentence.
Okay.
So you have used ramate. So what is the bhutakala for ramate? Uttama purusha.
Can you say
Arame.
this in English
Yeah.
sometimes also, please?
Rame.
We have not yet come to the English. Right?
Ramam.
Aham I. Arame, right. So we are aham I. I sada always. Arame reveled in. Is reveled double L? Okay. All right. So I'm assuming it's a double L. If not, please we'll correct it later. Okay. So I always reveled in. Reveled in what?
Just.
Huh?
Hasya.
What is so the hasya that you are telling me is actually the it is not been sanctified by either a ting pratyaya or a sup pratyaya. The hasya you're telling me is just a prathipadhikam. We can't use that in a sentence.
Okay.
So what is the form that we will need to use for making that into a sentence?
Hasyam.
Hasya.
Okay, hasya, the meaning of hasya is a joke, meaning something that is causing you to laugh. So,
could it be seventh case because it's in that thing?
that is the reason why the verb is very important. So, aham sada hasye arame. So, ramate is an akarmaka dhatuhu.
So why won't it be a subject?
It is because it is an intransitive verb. The verb ramate is intransitive. It cannot take an object.
Okay. What has happened?
It's not outside.
It
is not outside the person who's doing it, right?
No, that is not the it's an, I don't know about that outside of the person. The meaning of the verb, anytime we use a verb, we need to first know the meaning of that verb, because knowing the meaning will help us understand if it is a transitive verb or an intransitive verb. So aham sada hasye arame. I always reveled. So hasyam is joke.
So because it is reveled in, right? That is
Correct.
why.
Because it is ramate. Right. Even I don't look at the English word, look at the word ramate itself. So look at the word ramate and know the meaning to be to revel in. So because of that word ramate, it is intransitive. Therefore, it will become hasye arame. And somebody said rochate ruch dhatuhu. So what would be the sentence? The same thing in that would be what?
Hasya. By the third case?
For what?
For rochate? By jokes, oh no.
It takes fourth, I think.
Fourth case, yes, because rochate something is pleasing to you.
Right.
So aham would be fourth case.
Which is?
And that, so which is
Mahyam.
Mahyam.
So mahyam, and then the joke would be first case.
Bahu samichinam. Very good.
Yeah.
So it would be hasyam sada mahyam rochate, arochata, if you wanted to retain the past tense. Hasyam sada mahyam arochata. And hasyam is one. Sada is, of course, an indeclinable. Mahyam is the fourth case. And arochata is the, yes, Bhaskarji?
So I'm sorry, the sentence could change quite a bit.
Yes.
So that is because we use the word arochata.
Right, because we use the verb.
So I'm sorry, again, what is arochata would be
Appealed to me.
appealed.
Pleases. Holds appeal for. So appealed.
Oh, then hasyam, yeah, okay.
So
Got it.
appealed as in pleased. Hasyam is joke. Sada, always.
Okay.
Mahyam is unto me, to me, but in the sense of unto me, as in fourth case, not second case. Hasyam sada mahyam arochata. So now you please tell me what your English sentence was.
It was, I was always fond of jest.
Fond of. So
Fond.
fond of is different. So fond of would be ichhami. So the same sentence, a third way can be written as aicham. Ichhami in past tense would be aicham. Aham sada hasyam aicham. So aham is the subject, sada is indeclinable, hasyam is in this case dvitiya vibhaktihi. It is the second case. Aicham is the verb, I liked. I liked, I always, hasyam, jest or joke. So depending on the verb, you see that the sentence has really gone helter-skelter.
Different.
That is why your thinking has to be clear. Before you start translating the sentence, you have to first. So how would you translate a sentence? Very nice exercise. We already came to the end of the class. So maybe I will give I can suggest a way to approach a translation from English to Sanskritam. The best thing would be to identify the verb and then you start working, plugging in. You can't go. So I always reveled in jokes. Jokes always appealed to me. I always liked the joke. So when you say it in English, in every single sentence, the order of words are different. The order of the words in Sanskritam are different from the order of the words in English. And therefore, it would be difficult for you to do word by word translation in that same sequence. So identify a verb and then you try to plug in the appropriate form for whatever word you want to be using. Sadhu? Okay.
Yes.
So any question before we close? Shall I stop sharing the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Any question before we close?
Vidyaji,
Yes,
after I stop recording, may I talk to you a little bit? Just
yes.
so you don't go away. Okay.
Yes, certainly.
Mhm.
So the intention is to revise. So I don't want this to become a lecture from on my part for the entire duration. We will be meeting next week also. So we will now work on sentences. So we will we can analyze the sentences and that way we will make it an interactive analysis of the sentences that we have done. So pick a few sentences that you can, that you want analyzed and bring it to class. And the first sentence, I'm not sure, I don't know who had spoken earlier. So the first sentence I didn't take because there were probably too many corrections that were needed. I'm not sure I don't remember what the first sentence had been. So if we start from small sentences and then make sure that our approach is fine, we can keep adding to it. And just like I showed how we made that Ramaha Gachati and how we expanded it to many more words, like that you can, once you have the subject and the verb, you can fill in all the other words as we go along. Okay. Anybody, please do the Shanti Mantra. Harinder ji.
Sarve bhavantu sukinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashchit dukha bhag bhavet, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritangamaya. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Thank you very much, Vidyaji. Again, a
Thank you,
wonderful
Vidyaji.
class.
Thank you. Enjoyed the
Thank you
class.
very much.
Yeah,
Tazini.
Vidyaji, thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you, Harinda
Sure.
ji. Everybody is so nice. I enjoy so much.
Yes.
Bye to everyone. Have a nice week.
Bye.
Bye.
Vidyaji.
You too.
Uh,
Bye.